Okay, the decline in popularity of major brands is not only imminent due to horrid quality, but also because the access to luxury is more commonplace than the events where it's appropriate to wear them. Oh, that's a really interesting take. I think, first of all, I will say that, the point that the access to luxury clothing is more commonplace than the events where it's appropriate to wear them. I guess it's kind of true somewhat. I think not all luxury is couture, right? Where there are very specific places you can wear really, really elaborate gowns and dresses and stuff like that. Not every piece of luxury was like that. I mean, Celine under Phoebe Philo is luxury, right? But that actually is luxury that you can wear day to day everywhere, and it's a cohesive wardrobe. Or a lot of stuff that Eddie Simon makes, like you can wear a teddy bomber basically anywhere. So I don't think all of luxury removes like places where you can actually wear them, or with a lot of luxury, there aren't too many places you can wear them. With some aspects, yes, I do necessarily agree with that. But I do think that the decline of popularity of major brands, more so than that, I think is more to do with horrid quality. Even though kind of what this person is saying here is because access to luxury clothing is more commonplace than the events where it's appropriate to wear them. I think it's still more to do with quality, to be honest. I definitely think it's a lot to do with quality. I don't think there aren't enough places to wear luxury, if that makes sense. I think there are many places you can wear luxury, so long as it's not a super elaborate thing. I do think that something that COVID did do though, for a lot of these brands, is COVID removed the need to wear certain types of clothing because everyone dresses more casually now because people work from home more so than we ever have before. And that's why a lot of brands have even been pivoting. I mean, you read interviews by Alessandro Sartori, and he's talking about how Zegna is going lax and more relaxed and more casual and more casual luxe. He says things like this. So even the most upmarket menswear brands are even relaxing their silhouettes and their clothing. So that just shows you that's kind of where fashion is going more so than anything. So I definitely think it's to do with quality more so than anything else. And more consumers, I think, are getting hip to the fact that some of these clothes are made in the same factories as fast fashion, or some of these luxury clothes are even made in Italy, but with basically slave labor, and they're using illegal workers who they can exploit because they are illegal, they're undocumented, so they can just pay them anything and they have to deal with it. Um, so yeah, more people are figuring this out, I think. Wearing Balenciaga after the scandal is scandalous. That's funny. What I will say though about Balenciaga that I do find strange is people have completely forgotten about it. It's almost like people don't talk about it anymore. It's quite insane that nobody talks about Balenciaga anymore. Like no one really talks about it. And I guess, and this is a point that a lot of people made when the scandal happened, right? No one can really move the needle if you are not a customer of the brand. Because if the people that actually buy the brand don't care, nothing will change or nothing's going to happen. And we've seen a lot of the customers for the brand, the ambassadors like Kim Kardashian. She sold her collection temporarily, and then shortly after she became the ambassador again. So those people, if they don't care or they don't change their mind, then it's not really going to move the needle. So I can see why barely anything has changed. It's business as usual. I don't know if it's scandalous to still wear Balenciaga after the scandal, because at the end of the day, Balenciaga clothing is not cheap, especially if you bought things at retail. And if you spend that much money on something, I think you should continue wearing that until the life cycle of it ends. Just not wearing it or throwing it away, all that sort of stuff because of a scandal. I get the moral argument. However, I just don't necessarily agree with it, because what are we going to do? Start chucking really expensive clothes in landfill? Like the people that wear the clothing or that bought the clothing have literally nothing to do with what happened. And even if they decide not to support the brand further for whatever reason, depending on how you feel about the whole situation, I think it doesn't solve anything to not wear something that you spent loads of money on. Unless you're going to sell it. If you sell it, then I'll get that, to be honest. Moving on. Jacquemus should be an ad agency. That's a crazy take. That's crazy. That's that's crazy. I mean, I always say that Jacquemus is like kind of like the fast fashion of luxury fashion in the sense that the clothing isn't great from a garment construction standpoint, from a creativity standpoint. There's just nothing about Jacquemus to me personally that I find interesting in any way. But the marketing is way more than interesting. I think the marketing is sensational. The marketing is amazing. And when you look at things through that lens, I can see why people would say Jacquemus should just be an ad agency and help other brands with their marketing strategy. I think Jacquemus could actually make a lot of money being an ad agency and just sharing tips about marketing with a lot of brands that definitely need those tips. Like, I won't mention names, but a lot of brands could do with the Jacquemus expertise in the marketing department. Not really a hot take, but you can't ironically sell out in a space like fashion. Even irony becomes somewhat sincere once you put a big price tag next and get people to endorse it. That doesn't mean the point of your joke had no meaning whatsoever, but it's already being chipped away at by pushing it in the market. Love you, Moschino, but it's true. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's kind of, that's the kind of take that we have with them now, right? Where it's like, your clothing doesn't exist in a vacuum. So yes, you can have these commentaries on capitalism with your clothing and you can be like, haha, it's a joke, da, da, da. But at the end of the day, it's in the context of luxury brands producing really bad quality clothing and charging high prices, and Balenciaga moving production from Italy to China. Not because, because I've always said, guys, you can make high quality things in China, but that's Balenciaga moved their production from Italy to China because they're trying to cut costs and stuff like that. So you can make all the jokes you want, but it's in the realm of you're the creative director of a brand that does all these things, right? And so it removes some of the validity of these capitalistic commentaries when you are where you sit is literally right bang in the middle of that whole thing. So yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that, but like the person said, not really a hot take, but I agree with the take in general. Burberry quality under Daniel Lee is actually very good, both in design and materials. Oh yeah, I don't even think that's a hot take. I 100% agree with this take because I did that long live stream that you guys can watch if you're new to the channel, where I talked about why Burberry is struggling financially and why it might not improve anytime soon. And in that video, I basically made the point that the main reason why they're struggling financially is because their strategy was all wrong. It has nothing to do with Daniel Lee being a terrible designer. Like people, and I think now that people have actually gotten a lot of Daniel Lee's clothing, like Burberry, in hand, people have actually realized it's actually really decent quality. Like a lot of, like, oh my god, gatekeep it. Guys, you can get Burberry on the low right now, especially if you're based in the UK, because Burberry is going on sale all over the place. So Burberry are doing many sample sales, so if you're in the UK, definitely look for that. Also, if you go to like Bicester Village, in Bicester Village in the UK, Burberry is on insane sales, and you can find some of Daniel Lee's runway pieces for like the absolute low. So that's like, if you're based in the UK and you want Burberry for the low, like runway stuff, that's really good quality for crazy prices. That's one thing you can explore. But yeah, so even the more so, I've actually seen a lot of his runway pieces up close and personal now. I genuinely think the only issue with Burberry is just the strategy that they have all wrong. And the pricing that was all wrong, to be honest. Luke said, don't put them on Bicester Village. Am I supposed to gatekeep Bicester Village? Which one of the Urbans gonna go pick up and ship for me? Do you know what? I'm gonna go to Bicester Village with Micah soon. So I don't mind proxying for the Urbans. If you're on the Discord, maybe the day that I go, I'll let everyone know and then I'll take pictures. And if you're interested in anything, I can like ship it to you and like, share the love with the Urbans. But we don't actually know when we're going. We haven't confirmed the time yet. But if you're on the Discord, just let me know. Remind me. I love my asshole. 90% of this chat is US based, so it's not like we can gentrify your Burberry haven. So yeah, going back to the hot take, I totally agree that, yeah, the quality is good under Daniel Lee, both in design and materials. I agree. Culture said it was never his fault. Burberry was being run amok. Their pricing and marketing sucks. Yeah, the marketing is awful. Like, oh my god, let's go on Burberry's Instagram. It might be improved now, but I remember that day when I did that live stream, their Instagram did not look fantastic. Like the pieces they were pushing, I was like, what is even remotely interesting about what they are pushing? And it's not like they don't have interesting stuff, because the stuff that they push is great. Like you look at their Instagram page and it's just very like, is the cyclical nature of Burberry. They spent so long trying to get away from this, and now they push it again. But yeah, I just feel like the stuff that they promote is so like low hanging fruit. Like, yes, get the very obvious Burberry check wallet for Christmas as a gift. It's very, I think it's down to like even what they market and like the promo. Like even, I liked this thing that they did with Sloan and Sloan's partner, and even Sloan's kid is in this too. But then why are they marketing these pieces? Who still wants to buy Burberry that looks like this? And the thing is, Daniel Lee is producing such interesting stuff. Why do a whole campaign with this though? Why? Why is your marketing spend going into campaigns like that? Why? And so that's my issue. I think that a lot of their marketing also, not fantastic. They're aiming for the middle class. Does the middle class want to wear Burberry that looks like that though? Is that what they want to wear? Going to Bicester is a headache because the train tickets are extortionate. Oh yeah, train tickets in the UK more and more are becoming stupid. Like they are literally becoming. Let me not even use the word that I wanted to use. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind-the-scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.